everybody. Welcome to a special edition of the Damn Yankees podcast produced by Seven Ashes Productions. I'm Megan. That's my brother Ryan. And there's my husband Cliff, the baseball dummy.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, special edition. We are a quarter of the way through the season. Right now, the Toronto and the Yankees are playing, so we're not doing a Yankees series recap podcast today. We are going to do power rankings and then do some quarter of the season awards.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's get into it.
All right. So
we're jumping right into the power rankings?
Yes.
I think that's the plan, yes.
Ryan's MLB Power Rankings.
It's very intense.
All right, so there's been a lot of changes over the last week. There's been a lot of teams who were in the top 10 last week who are, not having the best of weeks. People who are outside of the top 10 who are having a really good week. So very different in the power rankings this week. So starting with number 10, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks making it back in. I believe they were 4-2 over the week. And Zach Gallen has just been very good for them. He's been keeping them in games on his days in, and the rest of the team, their rookie Corbin Carroll and their other guys in their team like Marte and others have been playing exceptionally well. I believe they are second in their division to the Dodgers. One of the wild card place teams right now for the NL. So Diamondbacks are my number 10 team. They are making it back in. I think they jump up 4 spots from last week. Another team jumping up 4 spots is our New York Yankees. They had fallen out of the top 10 for a couple of weeks, not having really good play, but they are the second. They're tied for the third best record over the last 10 games, 7-3. They did take a loss yesterday to Toronto. I think had the Yankees beaten Toronto yesterday, we would have had the Blue Jays in the spot. But, of course, the Yankees did not get the win. They could not score a run against the Blue Jays yesterday. But they have beaten them twice in the series, so they are up 2-1. And they're winning right now in the game 2-1, unless that's changed since we started.
Nope, still 2-1.
So, so things are starting to turn back around for the Yankees. They're 25-20. They move up 5 spots back into the top 10. And the team that we're currently playing, the Toronto Blue Jays, have fallen from number 5 to now number 8. Their hitting has not been there this past week as it should. They did have a good series against the Braves, but then they come into the Yankees and they just have not been able to hit well. And more of like left on base issues, like almost like Yankees' typical issue is yesterday I think they had 9 hits going into the 9th inning.
That sounds right. They had a lot.
And we have given them like 3 errors.
Yeah.
So they had plenty of guys on base. I think they had a couple walks, maybe 3 or 4. So they had plenty of men on base, but they could not score, unlike the Yankees, who also couldn't score, but we weren't really getting many guys on outside of walks.
I think they only had 3 hits yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. We were walking well, but outside of that, we weren't. Yesterday was not a good day for runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
But the Blue Jays have been having some issues with their scoring of late, and especially against the Yankees, who are struggling right now with pitching, like depth in their pitching. I mean, Herman comes out good 4 innings and then is an idiot who knows that people are
3
innings. Comes out during the 4th inning, right?
Yeah, like to start, yeah.
It goes out for the 4th inning and they eject him.
There. Yeah.
And he knows that they're looking at him because of the recent issues. So I'm not going to try to get this into a Yankee podcast right now, but it was a dumb move. And
he's really hurt the Yankees bullpen. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Or
just
and
their
Hamilton
depth.
Had to jump in to take over for him, and he gets injured probably because he's not properly warmed up. He had to rush his warm up, so a lot of issues right now, and the Blue Jays still have not been able to really capitalize much. So that's why they have dropped. And it's only their win yesterday that saved them from being below the Yankees right now.
I was just going to say maybe they're just too worried about where the coaches are standing. I'm sorry. I think Aaron Judge just hit another home run, or it's a double.
I'm telling you, I'm going to make you guys drink.
I'm sorry.
We're turning this into a little bit of a no longer a special edition. This is just a typical podcast right now.
I'm sorry. It's not our fault that right in the middle of the Yankees and Toronto rankings, Aaron Judge hits. They're conferencing about it. They don't know if it's a home run or a double.
Gotcha.
But he's certainly he's definitely doing very well out in Rogers Center.
He's definitely motivated to put the Blue Jays on blast. I mean, we all know that the Blue Jays want to be our rival, and it's probably developing into that. I mean, from what I've seen, Yankee fans are pretty angry with Blue Jays. Home run?
Yep.
Good. Aaron Judge with another home run. Solo shot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So... The Blue Jays just want to be rivals with the Yankees. They keep making comments against us. The trailer's over. Here's the movie. I mean, I haven't really seen the movie yet from Toronto.
Well, it all seems one-sided to me. They seem to be real keen on starting shit, and then they don't want
to. On the player side, for sure.
Yeah, and they can't.
On the player side, for sure. I think on Yankee Twitter. In Blue Jays Twitter, there's a bit of a rivalry there just because we're like, shut up, you idiots.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But like for the player standpoint, the players are probably like, why are you
that's like that Mad
talking?
Men meme. It's like, I don't think about you at all.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's a good series right now. It's exciting. It's crazy. The first couple of games were absolute nuts. But when we leave Toronto, we don't think about Toronto. Right now the Yankees,
we're thinking
Red Sox,
about the Rays and the Red Sox.
Yeah, say the Red Sox rivalry isn't that heated, but you still hate them no matter what. Somebody says something, and you're like, "Fuck the Red Sox." But like the actual games itself is not that heated because they're it's just not.
Yeah,
you're not competing with them for first place or postseason berth or So yeah.
And one way to point out why the rivalry between the Yankees and the Blue Jays, not the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, is not there as much as I think the Blue Jays would want it to be. Though I guess they would be in control of it. If this was a Red Sox game where the Red Sox are accusing Aaron Judge of cheating, and saying that our coaches are standing out of place, the Red Sox pitcher, whoever it was, would have nailed Judge first opportunity. We haven't seen that yet with the Blue Jays. They just want to talk. They're not about the actions with it. So that's just who the Blue Jays are. But anyway, moving on from them, they are our number 8. Another team moving up in the rankings is Milwaukee Brewers. They are leading their division. The Central on both sides aren't the best, but Milwaukee is certainly the best within the Central.
They brought it back. It's a double. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I challenged it.
Oh, well.
Sorry. Just to be correct.
Yes. Okay. So no home run. Judges on second base with a very deep double, I'm assuming.
It's very important. That was very – yeah, it was.
So the Brewers are number 7 now. I think Craig Counsell is doing a really good job of getting them back into those positions to make the playoffs. Obviously, it's not just him. Burns is doing a great job out there. I think the Rogers brothers are doing pretty well for them. Twins that are playing for the Brewers, they are doing pretty well in their bullpen. I think I've seen that Yelich, I don't have the stats, but Yelich is looking like a little bit vintage Yelich instead of what he's been the past couple of seasons, which of course helps. And I believe that Luke Voit, former Yankee, is doing decent over there. I mean, nothing that we would miss with what Rizzo's doing, but definitely certainly helping Milwaukee right now. And the biggest riser this week is the Houston Astros. They are our number 6 team. I don't like the Astros.
Yeah,
It's
they
kind
just
of like the
sweep.
Red Sox last week. Hurts putting them up.
I
But
don't,
Yeah.
I don't
think
think
one of the
anybody
things-
likes the Astros.
Yeah, not many.
Yeah, not many people.
Except for people in Houston.
Mhm.
Houston moves up to 6. They move up 9 spots, mainly because they're one of the hotter teams right now in the past 10 games, especially in the last. If you just look at the last 6 games, I think they're 5-1.
Yeah, they just swept whoever they played, right? Who'd they play?
Yes.
The White
Cubs.
Sox or the Cubs? That's right. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, they're playing very well. Dusty Baker is a really good
Dusty
coach,
Baker
a manager.
Yeah.
He's the only reason that if I had any glimmer of happiness for the Astros, and not really for the Astros, just for Dusty Baker,
just for Dusty Baker, and
to get his championship. He definitely earned it without cheating for the Astros, so I got to hand it to him. He's a better manager than AJ Hinch. But
that's true.
he has gotten them back in it, and this is still before Altuve returns, so this is big for them. I still think that they have a big weakness in their pitching rotation. And I think we mentioned this last week when it comes to our team with all the injuries, Cole and Cortez have to play at a higher level, or they feel like they have a little bit more pressure because outside of them, there's no real starters. They do have a full 5 pitching rotation, from what I understand. I don't think they have any injuries, the Astros, in their pitching rotation, but they do lose Justin Verlander last year. And without an ace, I think it puts Fromper Valdez in that feeling like he has to be the ace. So he's not playing as well as he was last year, and the others kind of follow in that suit. So I think that's their biggest weakness. On top of that, Jose Abreu has not been hitting great.
Yeah.
As well as a few of their other guys have not been where they should be. Though Pena, I think, has been one of the reasons why this surge for them has gone up. So anyway, they are our number 6. Another team moving up is the Texas Rangers. They are number 5. They're 26-17. They are leading the AL West. Eovaldi has been great. I think he's a Cy Young candidate as of now in the first quarter, which we'll get into in a little bit. He, former Yankee, he's former Red Sox, moved to the Rangers this year, and he's been pitching like his prime years. So big for them. I mean, they got DeGrom too, and I still think DeGrom will find his way into that Cy Young candidacy conversation before year's end. So I think Texas is in a really good spot. Marcus Semien has been playing really well. Corey Seager is back for their team. He was out on a 10-day IL, and I believe they were like 8-2 without him. So a team that's already really good is adding one of their key pieces. So good for the Rangers so far this week. Dropping down is the Atlanta Braves. They did have that bad week against the Blue Jays. And it kind of hurts the Braves that they had some struggles against the Blue Jays, and now the Blue Jays are struggling against the Yankees. So just the way I see it, that there's a couple more teams that are hotter than them right now, and so they moved down to 2. They are still one of the best NL teams in hitting, and I think they're the strikeout leaders for pitching. So the Braves are still one of the best teams. I don't imagine they'll be dropping, week to week. It's just the next 3 teams are the hottest in baseball right now. Baltimore Orioles, they're the second best record in the AL, and unfortunately that also means they're the second best team in the AL East. I think they're actually the second best team in the MLB, but they're still the second team in the AL East. They've been pitching really well. They've got some rookies and some sophomores on their team that have been Very good for them. I mean, Gunnar Henderson, the catcher, Rushman, Yanier. I don't know how you say his name. I think it's Yanier Cano, reliever out of the pen. They have some pitching that has been pretty solid. I don't really think that from a team they have anybody specific who is like superstar, but they are playing really cohesive as a team. Second place, they moved up to. They are, I would say, the hottest team right now in the last 10, 20, 30 games. I think they are one of the top records in the league in those games. That would be the Los Angeles Dodgers, 28-16. They moved past the Diamondbacks, I think, 2 weeks ago, and now they are closing in on the best record in the NL.
Yeah, they have the same record as the Orioles as of today.
So, did the Orioles lose today?
They did. I didn't know.
So this
couldn't
was
remember
made
what
in the
you just
morning.
said, but okay.
This was made in the morning, so.
All right. But that's how they fall right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, now they're getting close to the second best record in the MLB. And actually, they are the second best team in the NL already. So they have worked themselves back from being, I think, third in the NL to now, third in the NL West to now the best team in the NL and working their way to, they're tied right now as the second best team in the MLB. So very good team. Dave Roberts has done really great there. James Outman, Mookie Betts, those guys have been playing very well for them. Freddie Freeman. So Dodgers have moved up to our number 2 and staying at number 1 until they start to collapse for real is the Tampa Bay Rays. They are 32-12. They lose what?
They lost today. Yeah.
And they actually are not a very hot team right now. They are 5-5 in their last 10 games. That might have changed. They might be 4-6 now.
That's what happens when you go 20-4 or whatever they did.
Yeah. We said that they're going to come back to earth, but with such a big start that they had, it's going to take some catching up before they fall out of first place.
Yeah.
So they still are number 1. And if you look at the AL, I think actually MLB everything for hitting.
Yeah, I think they lead.
Pretty much everything but stolen bases, they lead it all. So don't know what they're feeding them over in Tampa, but that's where we're at.
Yep.
All right. So real quick, because I know that Cliff is telling us we're well past time.
I didn't say nothing.
We're going to go over the bottom 5. Real quick who moved out of the bottom 5, who's had a pretty good week. They're the team that helped knock the Red Sox out of the top 10. Damn Red Sox, if you're listening to this, they're our Twitter rival now, I guess. I don't know what's going on there.
But thanks for watching. And
thanks for watching this.
Yeah. Enjoy.
But the team that knocked them out was the Cardinals. They are no longer on the bottom 5. They've had a pretty good week. I think they're 8-2 in the past 10 games. Pretty good from them over there. So the bottom 10, Colorado Rockies are still at 26, 19-25 this season. The Washington Nationals have fallen down 2 spots. Not a great week for them. They are now 18-25. I think they are on the bottom of the AL or the NL East. The Chicago White Sox moved down a spot. They are 16-28. There is a lot of things going on for them that is just toxic locker room stuff. It seems like we talked about the Luis Robert issue with him not running it out. I mean, that was a few weeks ago now, but just a lot of issues. The Andrew Benintendi, I know that we were all upset that we didn't re-sign him, but he's not hitting that well over in Chicago, so I can't imagine what he'd be doing in New York.
Didn't they see TA say something at first base, he hates it here or something?
Yeah, I think that there's somebody who said that he actually said, "I hate the pitch clock," but who knows?
I don't know. I watched
I
it a
think
couple
he's
of
coming
times.
up to his free agent year. If it's not
Oh.
this year, it's next year. So, I mean, if they're going to play this bad, I don't imagine him staying for very long.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he said pitch clock. I'm not great at reading lips, but
I'm not either, and I have not seen John Boys to confirm. So,
Well,
Yeah.
we're never going to make it a podcast if you guys can't read lips. Hate to break it to you.
well, maybe you should work on that.
all right, number second to last, not number 2, number 29 and 30 have stayed on the very bottom because they are just bad.
The worst.
The Kansas City Royals are down at 14 and 31. I think they have had an okay week for them. They're like 3 and 7 or 4 and 6 in their last 10, which is decent for them. But not good is the Oakland Athletics. They have finally reached 10 wins. They are 10 and 35 on the season, and I believe that is still on pace for 125 plus losses. And my reminder, I think the worst record is
The
what I say,
Tigers.
114 in a 162 game season.
I think that's right. It was the Tigers, right?
I think there was a team that lost like 120 back when it was like 140 games, but it was like the Cleveland Spiders in like 1800s. And they were disassembled like immediately, disbanded. So
we don't need to count them then.
no. So and in recent years, I think 114 losses was the worst from the Tigers, and they are well on pace for that. So outside of that, the biggest droppers are the San Diego Padres. Tatis's return has not helped them much. They are still dealing with pitching issues, and Manny Machado is not doing good after his extension.
Machado. Yeah.
He's being Machado of the Dodgers, not Machado of last year's Padres. So hope that changes, because when he's hitting and he's doing his thing, like, it's a fun league for them.
Well, and
over
the Padres
there,
kind of need him to do that. So yeah.
I mean, their entire future is based on Machado
and Tatis. Yeah.
Well, not Tatis right yet, but
didn't they?
I don't think he's resigned after all the issues, and I think they'll wait until they know about Ohtani next year.
Okay. Why did I think he signed some massive contract?
Oh, you're right. He might sign a massive contract before the.
Yeah, but 14 years, 340 million contract.
Yes.
Like
before all the
steroid whatever, and breaking his hand.
I think what it is that he might be traded.
I can they could theoretically trade any of them, but
right.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was like.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking right. In my head, I was thinking about their future plans, and I don't think Tatis has yet solidified them in their plans.
I can see that.
I do believe that Machado is their future.
See their future
they see
there.
Around Machado. I don't think, and I'm more thinking about Soto too. Like, I don't think they re-sign Soto if they're trying to get Ohtani next year.
Yeah,
he's not doing well either. Like, they really need these guys who are meant to be the league's best. I mean, the Padres should be having the statistical team that the Rays are having right now.
Yeah,
and they've got Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, Bogarts, Machado. I mean, they've got some guys. I mean, even their like side or their like role players, you would say, like Cronenworth. I forget who. I don't know who's playing second. I think Kim is playing second for them right now. But they've got guys who can also hit. They've got guys who should be really good for them. They just have not.
It's not working yet. Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with the Padres, but they are dropping quick. They've dropped 7 spots to number 19 in the power rankings. They're 20 and 24. I think they just had a 19 and 18 record last week. So not what you want if you're a Padres fan.
Definitely not.
All right. Well, we want to move on to the quarterly awards.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to start off, or how do you want to do it?
Um,
Let's
you
maybe do AL and then NL.
Yeah, we can do the AL first. We'll do the awards for AL MVP, AL Cy Young, AL Rookie of the Year. Let's see.
Well,
How long
Well,
is
Let's
this?
say that's very long,
well, that-
obnoxiously
oh,
long.
I'm just now seeing it. It's 30. It's like 40 seconds long.
Oh, okay.
I didn't make a special one for awards because I didn't know we were doing awards today.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, AL Rookie of the Year and AL Manager of the Year. Well, of the quarter.
Quarter, yes. Yeah, we're saying of the year, but these are what we believe are the MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year up until this point. So not
Yeah.
including the games that are currently going on, but basically up until last night, what they've
Yeah.
done previously.
May
So,
17th. Yes.
yes. And prior. So
Okay. Yeah. So we can start with AL MVP. Let's see. I mean, I don't care if it's biased. I'm going to just say Aaron Judge is the AL MVP. I know he was out for 10 games, but
This
to me, that
is my surprise face.
shut up. But I think that shows just how terrible, to be frank, our lineup really is when he's not in it, and how much our lineup really depends on Aaron Judge. And he's just hit 6 home runs in 6 days, so I think that helps too. I mean, he also
recency bias is helping Judge.
absolutely,
Sure.
absolutely.
When he towers
I mean,
over the friggin' walls.
well,
He broke their wall yesterday.
he did. He did.
Or not
It was
yesterday,
the
2
day
days
before.
ago.
Yeah. But
Some pitchfork wielding mob is missing their friggin' monster. I tell you what.
oh, rude. As of yesterday, he had 11 home runs, and I think the only Yankee that has double-digit home runs. I think the Yankees are pretty down in home runs this year. I mean, aside from the
from what they're
offensive
normally
woes,
doing.
but so I don't know.
Yeah,
But
he's one of the tops in the AL in OPS plus as well, 161.
Yeah,
I think his WAR is a little bit lower, but that's because of that injury, not being able to play.
Right. Yeah. He has been out. He was out for 10 days with an injury. So hopefully, and I think that was a little, for all he's injury prone people out there, I think that was a little more precaution than injury.
Yeah,
I mean, there was probably an injury there, but 10 days worth, I'm not sure was.
And he
really
came back firing. Outside of one game.
Right away. No limitations.
Great.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's my pick.
All right. Well, I am going to go. There's part of me that thinks the obvious here is Shohei, but to me, I value what the team is doing too. And I mean, the Angels are a 500 team, and this is just coming after last week where I got them into the top 10, and I think I said last week that the Angels have a tendency of doing good and then
tanking,
and they're in that tanking position now, and that's not really Shohei's fault, but since I am going off of the first quarter, I'm going to go with a player who's on the hottest team in that first quarter, and that is Wander Franco of the Tampa Bay Rays. He has a 2.5 WAR, which is tied for second in the AL under Marcus Semien, who I think should also be in that category. He's slashing 288, 351, 500. And he's stolen 14 bases. He does cool things with the baseball as he's throwing people out at first. He's having a really good season. He's leading the Rays, who have a really great team. I don't know if he has specific things that he's leading the team in, but he is their hitting leader. Whether or not he's got their batting average, like he is like their Judge, maybe not as significantly. Obviously, Judge was an actual MVP last year. Franco has best been a Rookie of the Year, but the team is going to play based on how Franco is doing, I think, and so I'm going with him as
he's
the
an
AL
important
MVP.
piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's mine. Maybe I'll do since you started the MVP, I'll start the Cy Young.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this sounds biased, but I promise you, I can show you my notes because I started this yesterday with yesterday morning with the understanding that I was going to have the rest of the day to kind of look at a few other things. Here, actually, I can pull it up just to prove it. My Cy Young yesterday, if it zooms in,
his integrity will not be impugned.
AL Cy Young, Eduardo Rodriguez from Detroit. But today I've changed my mind. Garrett Cole had another runless outing yesterday. He added another 6 strikeouts.
6 strikeouts, yeah.
Another 6 strikeouts to his total.
2 away from a record. Oh, sorry.
2 away from a record.
A record. He's they were saying it yesterday on the broadcast, and now I've blanked it what it is, but he gets 2 more
to start
more strikeouts. I don't know if it's Yankees or it's probably a Yankee milestone, but still.
Yeah.
So he's
probably something like most strikeouts in the first how many seasons a player has.
Yeah.
Maybe
next time I interrupt you, I'll have a better better reason.
But he has a 2.7 WAR, which I think leads the AL starting pitchers. He also has a 2.16 ERA plus, which I think leads AL starting pitchers. He's been dominant this season, and just as you talked about with Judge and how important he is to our lineup, Cole is extremely important right now to our pitching rotation. Without him right now, we are not a winning team.
Oh yeah,
we are a losing team without Cole and Cortez starting.
And I think yesterday was the first game the Yankees lost that Cole pitched. Is it the second?
Yeah, the Rays game where he blew up.
Oh, I thought we won that one. Okay.
Did we go back and win that one?
Oh no, the first. Okay.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. Short memory.
It's okay. So yeah, the Yankees have lost 2 games that he has started out of the 7, but he's been dominant in the other 5. And honestly, he was dominant in yesterday's game. Just the hitters couldn't get it done.
And he didn't have his best stuff yesterday, but he battled and worked his way out of every single one of those innings. So.
And that's what you want from a Cy Young type candidate. That's what you want from your ace. You're not going to be the guy every single time. So Anyway, Garrett Cole is my Cy Young. Again, it sounds maybe a little bit biased, but I did have Eduardo Rodriguez. Detroit was in the very bottom to start the season. He's been very good at keeping people off base. He's got a .865 whip. So if those don't know what that is walks and hits per inning. Typically, pitchers who are really good are right around 1, and he is well under that. But he got hit around yesterday that kind of swayed my decision to go toward Cole.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, that's not a bad pick in my mind. Well, and had you not picked him, I probably would have because I'm clearly biased anyway. But my backup, what it was going to be Sonny Gray, and this could be because I saw him kick our ass, but he seems like he's figured it out since he's left us. Not a new thing this year.
He likes small market teams, and it's nothing against him, but he definitely thrives.
He thrives there, and I think he's doing really well for Minnesota. So his ERA is 1.64, his WHIP is over 1, but
yeah. I was going to say, and I apologize, he is the ERA plus leader for the AL starters.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Yeah.
268.
Yeah. So, and his WAR is 2.3. He's doing a lot for Minnesota, and so he was my backup
keeping them
pick.
In it.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
They are leading the Central. It's not difficult to do that this year, but
Yes, yeah, I guess you have that caveat. Yeah, he is in the Central. Woohoo, they're in first place, but under
But
the
he's
East.
the main
But
reason why they are there, and they
yeah,
are not a losing team like the rest of the
rest
rest of
of
the
the
Central
Central.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sun and Gray is like really like when it comes down to it, the Cy Young is really close right now. I mean, obviously we're only a quarter of the season in, that changes as we go along. But if you could have said Nathan Evaldi, we mentioned him earlier,
He was
he's
also
doing very
there.
well this season.
Yeah.
Shane McClanahan has been pitching very well this season. Honestly, any one of those five people, Eduardo Rodriguez included, you could say any one of those people, and I don't think that
And I'll get Cy
anybody
Young
could
votes.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so your rookie of the year.
My rookie of the year. I get to go. Oh well, then I'm
Yeah.
picking Anthony Volpe. I mean, this might be a little bit biased, so I'll definitely own that. But I really love the fact that this kid has basically skipped AAA and is holding his own in Major League Baseball. And aside from recent errors and tough defensive stuff that he's also had some great defensive plays, especially throughout the year. Yeah, he's learning, and so there's some growing pains. And I honestly think by mid-season, towards the end of the season, he really gets it. I know this is supposed to be for the first quarter, and so maybe throwing potential in there isn't fair. But he also, if he doesn't leave,
he is of the hitters for rookies. I think he leads rookies in WAR.
Yeah, okay. I was just gonna say, at least, and on the base paths, he's certainly dominant. Every time he's on the base paths, you expect him to
13 stolen bases. I think he's one of the leaders.
I was gonna say, if
he's the leader, but definitely rookie leader.
Yes, he is rookie leader, and at one point was the leader in MLB for stolen bases, right? Or at least tied for it or something at one point. Anyway,
well,
he's in. When
we get to the NL side, we'll talk about the player who's, I don't know. Yeah. Leading pretty much everything in every category ever.
Yeah. But so I don't know. This kid impresses me, so I would not hesitate for a moment to give him, first quarter rookie of the year. And he's hit a grand slam already. He's, he's an all around player, I think. So that really, he bunts, he hits home runs. He's fun to watch. So I'm gonna pick him.
All right. Well, I am going to pick kind of a sleeper pick here. I've mentioned him before in this podcast. He's one of these guys for Baltimore that they were able to find, and he's been an absolute gem. That is Yanier Cano. I mentioned him earlier during the power rankings. This kid has come up. He has a 1.9 WAR that leads all rookies, and he's a reliever. Don't see many relievers winning awards other than the Reliever of the Year award.
Mm-hmm. And to have a WAR that high and to be,
it's pretty impressive. Yeah, being a reliever. He's only gone in 21.2 innings pitched, but for a reliever, that's about the average, if not a little bit above, for a reliever. He has yet to give up a run. On top of that, we talked about the whip, right? I said whip should be, if you're being really good, should be, as a starter, should be right around 1.0. 1.0000. As a reliever, it should be a little bit lower because you're only pitching 1 or 2 innings, and your whole reason is to not allow people on. So it should be a little bit lower, but we're looking at around 0.6 to 0.8. For a good reliever. This kid is at 0.185. Not 1.85, 0.185 whip. 25 strikeouts, so he's getting more than a strikeout per inning. He is Baltimore's guy to be able to put into games. I think they've been putting him into closing roles recently just because of how good he's been doing. But he's the guy that they've been able to trust to say, hey, get us through these innings that we're leading. It's a guy who I wish the Yankees would have right about now. Yeah. Other people who I think have been good, of course, probably the guy who most people are taking is What, Yoshida?
Yeah.
Masataka Yoshida. He does have a rookie leading 136 OPS plus. He's got 28 RBIs. He is a bit of an older rookie because he was playing in Japan for a few years. I think he's 29 or 30 years old, but he's still a rookie nonetheless. He's hitting 300, 6 home runs, 28 RBI, 136 OPS plus. So I think he is a guy who I think most people are giving that award to.
Yeah,
I think
makes
outside
sense.
of that, Josh Jung has been very good. He's had 8 home runs. Bryce Miller for the Seattle has a .47 ERA, though he has not played in very many games, so that's kind of a little bit skewed. And then Luke Raley for Tampa Bay Rays, also 8 home runs, 144 OPS. So actually that's higher than Yoshida, but he hasn't played in as many games, I think. But, I mean, those guys are also going to be in it. Manager of the year, obviously it's Aaron Boone. I'm just kidding. We all know that's a joke. If you've listened to our past 2 or 3 podcasts, you know that is nowhere close. Probably worst manager of the year is Aaron Boone. But for real, mine is Brandon Hyde. I really think what he's done with the Orioles this season, bringing them to a team that's on pace for 100 wins. They are now tied for the second best record in MLB today, but as of yesterday, they were the second best team in MLB. So he is my manager of the year, manager of the first quarter.
He was going to be mine too. So
sorry, I took him.
That's all right. But I'll go with Kevin Cash. I mean, he's at least led the Rays to an unbelievable start, one that could allow them to go, 500 for a while and not feel it. So I think he deserves some credit there, as much as that would really pain me. But
I mean, if they went 500 the rest of the season,
they're still.
I think
in the
they 90s, would still be
they?
In the 90s. Yeah, they're 20 games above 500, so
yeah,
they'd still be in the 90s on wins. This season if they went 500 the rest of the year.
Yeah, so that first start, or the start they've had, even if they are starting to feel the bumps in the road, and their strength of schedule to start with was easy, or I think it was the easiest by certain metrics.
I think it
that
still
I've seen.
Is the easiest, or one of the top 5 easiest.
But to win that many games and to be as hot as that is, you have to hold a team together and keep them moving and keep the momentum going for that long. It's hard for any team. So I'll give credit where credit's due. He can have AL manager of the quarter.
Yeah, I mean, even with the Yankees, I mean, I know that we were down on the Yankees. They had a winning record against us. They're playing against division rivals and winning those games, a majority of those games. And that's where you win these divisions, is by beating the guys in your division. And so far, they've done that.
Yeah.
All right, another guy that you could talk about, and I had no problem with if you said this guy should be manager of the year, is Bruce Bochy. He was a longtime Giants manager. He's now with Texas, doing really good things with them too. So, but yeah, I'm pretty good with the 2 that we picked. Cash and Hyde are, I mean, their records are the best in MLB for a reason. So
yeah.
All right, jump over to NL. You started the AL, so I'll start the NL.
All right, go for it.
We'll go through. I'm sorry to have to take him because he's the obvious one here, and I would not have any problem with you just saying, yep, same, because the other 3 I added in for mine, like as runner-ups, are really just that. Like, they're fighting for second place. Ronald Acuna Jr. is on pace for an Aaron Judge type season, and right now actually better.
He's having a crazy season.
Season. He's batting, slashing. He's right now at 3.0 WAR, which is absolutely insane. I don't think anybody else is even really close to that, other than maybe being at like 2.7. But 3.0 WAR. He's the only one that's hit 3. His slash line is 345, 437, and 6 13. If you don't know what those numbers are, it'd be a little bit too long to explain it. But those are all very good.
Those
They're
are
all well
good.
above average, well above great average, like where you expect a great player to be. It's still above that this season. He's got 11 home runs, 12 RBIs, 40 runs, which leads the MLB, as well as he leads the MLB in hits. And he leads the MLB in stolen bases with 18. And he's got a 181 OPS plus, which I believe also leads the league. He leads the league in a lot of statistical categories. And it's been a pretty impressive season for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was definitely who I was going to pick. If I can't pick him, I'd go with Sean Murphy, who's just on the same team, doing
He's
not the
basically
same
hitting
stuff, but just as good as you would want anybody to hit if they're not Acuna Jr. apparently.
Yeah.
So
he's got 34 RBIs. I want to know how many of those RBIs are Acuna.
That's true. That is a good point. He probably has quite a few of the runs scored because of Sean Murphy. So that Acuna Jr. is just amazing, and so it probably helps make Sean Murphy better. But
yeah.
Other
guys that you could consider is like Luis Ariz. He's a really good hitter. He's a good contact guy. That's probably his downfall though. With all that, he's got a 389 batting average, which we know that'll drop as the season goes. But if he were to finish the season with that, that'd be an insane number. We haven't seen 390 in how long? I mean, probably since Tony Gwynn was playing.
Oh yeah, I mean, that'd be your best bet. Even around that time, it would have been just him.
Yeah. Like I think he was the closest to get to 400 since Ted Williams, and Ted Williams played in World War II. So players just don't hit close to 400 anymore, and so even just for the fact that he started the first half doing that.
I'm sorry.
You're good. But he doesn't get a lot of extra base hits. He doesn't hit home runs. He doesn't. So, and then Paul Goldschmidt's been okay, but the team's been terrible. And the Ronald Acuna and Sean Murphy have been outdoing him. So you want to do Cy Young?
Yeah. Let's do Cy Young. Sorry, was distracted. I'm going Spencer Strider. He's crazy to watch. He's fun to watch. And this kid is, I mean, I know his ERA is 2.96, might not be the best, but 86 strikeouts. He has basically a 1 whip, 146 ERA plus 1.4 WAR. He's fun to watch. I really like him. So that's
he's got the Garrett Cole curse of he gets
he gets
home runs a lot. That's why his ERA is high, but his whip is low. Is because one hit is a home run.
Yep.
But I mean, and to put in perspective, though, 2.96 ERA is pretty good if we're getting to the end of season. So.
At the end of the season, this is exactly this is what this is definite Cy Young territory, and he was a rookie last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean,
I think he lost Rookie of the Year to his teammate, Michael Young. No, not Michael Young. Michael.
You might be right. I can't remember.
Michael something. He plays in the outfield for him, center field, fast player.
Okay.
Spencer Strider. That's a good pick. He's my season prediction because I think he's going to keep on that pace. But if we're just talking about the first quarter, I'm going to go with Zach Gallen, only just because, as I kind of mentioned earlier, his pitching has been able to keep Arizona winning games. 2.35 ERA. 70 strikeouts, which isn't as high as Strider with 86, but still one of the top in the league. 0.855 whip, which I believe leads the starters in whip, and a 182 ERA plus. I was torn between him and Alex Cobb of the Giants. He leads the NL starting pitchers in WAR with 2.4. He also has a pretty good ERA, good ERA plus. but I just went with Gallen just because, again, I mean, I value what your team is doing. I'm not a big fan of seeing teams that aren't winning
Mm-hmm.
get like MVP or Cy Young type awards just because I feel like you should be
You should,
helping your team win.
yeah.
Now, in the case
Unless
of
it,
like Shohei
I
Ohtani,
would say
I mean,
there are
yeah,
exceptions, but
there are
yeah.
exceptions to that.
Same.
So
My backup was going to be Clayton Kershaw. And that could be recency bias, but
he's been pitching like old Clayton
yeah,
Kershaw.
yeah. So that was like my backup
Yeah.
if I had changed my mind. But
And
yeah.
again, he's an ace pitcher for a winning team. He's actually technically he's not their ace. Urias is their ace this season, but Kershaw's been playing like an ace, certainly. I think people could throw Justin Steele in there too, but I just think that he doesn't have the same like anything that he does good. I think other guys do a little bit better, but he's been pretty solid
That's
for
fair.
the Cubs. I think it's in a similar way without Steele. The Cubs are already in a below 500 team. I think they'd be pretty close to the bottom of the cellar without him. So, all right. Rookie of the year. I think that's you.
That me?
Yep.
Oh no, I picked Cy Young. Well, I can do it.
Okay.
To be honest, I feel like I could have gone with a few of these, but I'm gonna go with James Outman.
That would have been mine.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going between him and Brzobin. Is that how you say his name? But I know he has a lower WAR, but I looked into him and he looked like he was a fun kid.
He also, and I should have put, I forgot to put it on my stats. His strikeout per 9 is like over 15.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So pretty good.
Yeah. For a kid, yeah, for a rookie. So James Outman was mine. He had 1.1 WAR. He has 9 home runs. To start the season, 139 OPS, 5 stolen bases, 27 RBIs. He was my pick. He's on. The Dodgers are doing really well. Yeah.
The Dodgers doing real well, and I think he's really helped. I mean, the 1.1 WAR, I don't think is doing justice of really how much. Just so everybody knows, WAR. Who don't know, WAR means wins above replacement. It basically values how much you are actually like adding value back to your team. So if you have a high WAR, it means you've added, like James Outman's added 1 win above his replacement. That's pretty decent for the first quarter. It's okay for the first quarter. As we said, 3 is the highest. But I feel like it might be a little bit more. I mean, they had their injury issues with, was Gavin Lux, who tore his ACL to start the season. Didn't even get to the start of the season, tore his ACL before spring training even, I think. So his addition has really helped the Dodgers be able to play high-end baseball. I don't really know. I mean, they've still got Mookie Betts. They still got Freddie Freeman, who are playing really well. But Outman has been a big addition. Mine would have been Outman, but just to add another name in there, it'd be Corbin Carroll of Arizona. Again, he kind of keeps the Arizona in these games. He has 10 stolen bases, 134 OPS plus 6 home runs. He gets on base really well with a 363 on base percentage, 27 runs this year. So he's probably going to end up winning it by the end of the season, but he'd be, if I can't choose Outman, he'd be my Rookie of the Year choice.
Very good.
All right, and finally, manager.
Manager? Is that you? That's
you. Yep. I'm going Craig Counsell.
Okay.
Again, I just kind of like the fact that he's been able to bring the Brewers back into where they should be. They were a team that was close to making the World Series 2 years ago, and then last year they did not have a good season. This year they bounced back. They're on the top of the NL Central and playing really good baseball, pretty solid baseball this season. So he's my pick. Maybe there's a couple other guys who have better records, better statistics, but I think with the team that they have, I think he's doing the most with what he's got. I mean, not to say that I could be an MLB manager, but if I was managing the Atlanta Braves, there wouldn't be much managing needed to be going on, So that's why I went with Craig Counsell.
That is true. He was going to be my pick, though. Brian Snitker. I always say his name wrong, but Brian Snitker. I think I like him as a manager in general. And he, I guess it is the easy pick, but he does have, until today, I guess, as of yesterday, he had the best record in the NL. Right, the Braves did.
Yes.
Now I think by percentage points the Dodgers do, but anyway, he was my pick. I think another backup could be the manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks, which I don't know who the name is right now, but
yeah, I'm blanking on that. Yeah, I mean, he's been doing great. I mean, one of the things that the Diamondbacks have done really well this season is playing with the new rules very well. Pitching wise, they are doing really well with commanding the pitch clock, with the new stolen base, like the bigger bags and the disengagements that pitchers rules are allowed. They're stealing bases, I think, better than anybody. So, I mean,
they just, for a team that wasn't even in the conversation of one of the better teams in baseball, they're second in their division. Maybe it's not a great division, but they're second in their division, and
it's better than we all thought. It should be really good.
It should be really good. It's just, you're right.
Yeah.
It should be, but it's not. But Torey Lovullo, if that's how you say it, is the manager of the Diamondbacks. So good job, Torey. And
I'd say Dave Roberts could be in there too. But again, the Dodgers, there's not a lot of coaching you need to do. I think someone had said it with like Aaron Boone, and I know it was a joke that I said that he was manager of the year, but I'm not joking when I say he could be worst manager of the year. I truly believe he's lost us 4 to 5 games this season. 2 of them being against the Rays. So managers don't tend to win games. Like their decision making doesn't always win games, but their decision making can certainly lose games. And Aaron Boone has been really good at making bad decisions that lose games. So speaking of, how bad is it right now?
Speaking of, it's 3-2 Yanks. But I was going to say,
Yankees are leading.
Yeah, we are still leading. Yes. And Bobby Abreu is in, but the bases are empty.
Bobby Abreu.
Bobby Abreu. My brain just glitched and went back like how many years?
Bobby Abreu would be awesome
on the mound.
Well, at least he's starting with a clean inning.
Albert Abreu is starting with a clean inning. That is what I was trying to say, but my brain glitched out. And anyway, so bottom of the 8th, 1 out. Abreu.
Pray that he does not screw it all up.
Yes, let's pray. Or Boone, one of the two. Let's.
Yeah. Well, knowing Boone will take him out when he's doing really good and put in, somebody who's not.
So yeah.
I don't know who's worse than Abreu, so I can't really come up with a player that can
put in a position player.
Put in a guy. Put in Garrett Cole, because you gotta trust your ace in these situations. Right. Even though he pitched 90 pitches yesterday. He got an out.
God. That was a foul ball. Oh, thank God.
Chapman hit the ball far?
Yeah, inches foul.
A long strike?
Very, very, very. Yeah. All right. So we don't get
Chapman's
too far.
another guy. I don't think we talked about him earlier, but Chapman's
No,
another guy
he
who
was-
could be considered leading
or-
Toronto.
Yeah, he certainly could be
MVP.
MVP candidate. That was he struck out good. So that could have been certainly bias on my part to not want to consider him, but yeah, he's absolutely in that conversation.
Yeah, I think we got into talking a lot of the AL guys and maybe just moved on from that. But yeah, I mean, Chapman has been really good. He started off really on fire with home runs, but it's he only has 5 so far this season, but still he's hitting really good.
Yeah,
Not right in that situation today, but
darn.
Yeah, darn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this short podcast did not end
short.
up very short. So
Short.
What are we at? It probably is shorter than a normal. Normal is like what, 120?
Yeah, we just hit an hour.
All right.
Hey, we're right at an hour, not an hour and 30.
All right.
Well,
where
now
should
it's an hour 1.
Where should they follow us? And
all right. Well, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at DamnYanks_pod, Facebook at DamnYanksPod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Damn Yankees. Is it Damn Yanks or Damn Yankees on YouTube now?
On YouTube, it's at Damn Yanks Pod _pod.
Okay. So yeah, follow us on YouTube, subscribe to the video if that's where you're watching. If you're watching on Spotify, subscribe to us there. If you're new to us, welcome. If you've been watching, Mom, everybody else who's been watching, family mostly, a few friends, we thank you for continuing to watch us babble on about the Yankees, even when we're not supposed to talk about the Yankees. But it is a Damn Yanks pod, so I think you got to expect some level of Yankee conversation, even on days where we're not
not planning on that. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you for listening to us on our short 1-hour podcast, and we should be seeing you guys again soon. I think we're going to be podcasting again on Monday.
Yep, after the Cincinnati series, we'll wrap up that and the Blue Jays series, and
which is almost wrapped up.
They've got one inning left to go.
It's 3-2. Hopefully, we hold on to it. If we can hold on to it, it'll be a very big series win against the division rival that we've been needing. A 2-game series win because we would beat them 3-1 in the 4-game series.
With the Orioles and the Rays losing today, that is a good thing for the Yankees. So
yes, and we just got through the inning. Abreu got us out of it.
Yep.
So
we're headed to the 9th.
To the 9th. So hopefully we hold on. You'll find out if you don't watch Yankee baseball. You'll find out from us on Monday with the conversations about that and the Reds game. So.
Yep. So we'll see you then.
Yeah. See ya.